Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got a major red alert. Well, China has launched an invasion here in the United States of America, and not your typical boots on the ground style of invasion, but I'm talking about psychological warfare and propaganda invasion. Now, here to kind of expand on it, I've got a clip by Tucker Carlson who reveals that Americans have been betrayed and that our mainstream media conglomerates have sold out to China. Take a listen to his warning.
One of the most important stories of this era, one that's rarely told, is the ongoing betrayal of American interests and ideals by our elites in favor of China. China is surpassing the United States in economic power and in global influence. And that didn't happen by accident. Our leadership class actively helped them do it, and they got rich in return. We've given you many examples of this on the show over the years. Tonight, another. Politico is a blog based outside Washington, D.C. Conventional people read it for a conventional view on politics. Politico is one of the reasons everyone on television sounds the same and is usually wrong. It's also one of the reasons sucking up to China seems normal in Washington. A few years ago, Politico entered into a so-called content partnership with the South China Morning Post. That's an English-language newspaper based in Hong Kong that is widely understood to be a mouthpiece for the Communist Chinese government.
Want to know something? Politico is considered authoritative news by Google, Facebook, and other social media websites. You see, never mind the fact that they're in bed with the Communist Party. No. We need to ignore that fact, and never mind the fact that they push propaganda for a communist regime who is literally torturing people in re-education camps, putting social scores on their people, basically saying millions of people can't fly because they speak against the Communist Party, and literally torturing Uyghur Muslims and Christians in Falun Gong. Never mind that. They're considered authoritative news. It doesn't matter if they support the Communist Party or not. But that also brings me to another reminder. You see, Google is also in cahoots with China. We here in the United States of America need to start waking up to their propaganda. Let me show you something else. How about maps? When you think and Google the map of China, right? I want to encourage you to do that. Look up a map of China. I'm going to toss one up here on the screen. And what do you notice? Look at Taiwan. You see, Taiwan has their independence, and yet you can see maps showing Taiwan as part of China. And what you also notice on these maps is the South China Sea, clearly labeled as if it belongs to China. That doesn't belong to China, and neither does Taiwan. I'm all for their independence. Hong Kong's even round up in there. But a majority of what your children are learning on these maps already included as part of its territory. Isn't that some kind of propaganda to be pushing on our youth? Why don't we print the appropriate maps? And some on there are correct, but a lot of them are not. But you know what? Thankfully, the Trump administration is starting to make movement against the Communist Party. Take a look at this article here on Reuters.com. U.S. imposes new rules on state-owned Chinese media over propaganda concern. The Trump administration said on Tuesday that it would begin treating 5 major Chinese state-run media entities with U.S. operations the same as foreign embassies, requiring them to register their employees and U.S. properties with the State Department. 2 senior State Department officials said that the decision was made because China has been tightening state control over its media, and President Xi Jinping has made more aggressive use of them to spread pro-Beijing propaganda. The control over both the content and editorial control have only strengthened over the course of Xi Jinping's term in power, said one official. These guys are in fact the arms of the Chinese Communist Party propaganda apparatus. Thank God, and I mean thank God, that we have an administration finally who is starting to wake up to the propaganda being pushed and the psychological warfare being pushed by China. And especially in light of what's happening with the coronavirus, because we don't know if it was released on purpose or an accident or whatever the case may be. But there is a lot of various styles of warfare, if you will, coming out of the Communist Party, especially and specifically targeted at the United States of America. So I encourage any senator, congressman, or even the president or whoever is listening that we need to start going after, if you will, the mainstream media outlets who are purposefully pushing and in bed with the Chinese government, Chinese government and their propaganda arm, like Politico, like New York Times and Los Angeles Times that I revealed a couple of weeks ago how they are in bed with China. There's multiple outlets that have sold out for a buck, and we need to pay attention. But that's not our only threat from China. There's actually a lot. Take a look at this article here on independent.co.uk. China is biggest espionage threat the U.S. faces, says FBI chief. Bloomberg.com, Parr rips China's dominance of 5G technology as a major threat. RTnews.com. Pompeo names the central threat of our times, and guess what it is? It is the Chinese Communist Party. You see, the Chinese have launched a communist takeover of the United States of America, psychological warfare, propaganda takeover, whatever aim you want to take, that's what they're after. They're after your minds, your brains, and taking over psychologically in order to one day control. You see, Xi Jinping has one thing in mind, and that's absolute power, and that's it. And he's definitely strong-arming his people with what's going on with the coronavirus, strong-arming his people to basically do what he says, to worship him as a god. In churches in China, and I've shared this before, they literally tear down. You're not allowed to have pictures of Jesus. You have to put up pictures of Xi Jinping and literally sing hymns to Xi Jinping. And then if you're a Muslim, they specifically target Muslims. You're taken to these re-education camps. Horrible, sick crap happening in China. And Falun Gong, the selling of organs, they don't care about the average person. That is the typical communist, tyrannical dictator. Anyhow, I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns. Please don't forget to check out my partner at hidewithlisa.com. One way that people are able to get information out over in China is the use of a virtual private network. Now, obviously, in China, they have made it illegal, but they're not here in the U.S. But if you ever come across a tyrannical regime, or if you don't want your information tracked, then you need to have access to a VPN. I have it on my phone, I have it on my computer, and I use it on all my devices. And that's why I teamed up with them on purpose. So check it out at hidewithlisa.com. And they've got 24% off, even a 30-day trial if you just want to try it. Well, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.